Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be drafting a female shorts pattern, shorts or knicker if you will. And if it's something you love to learn, then you're welcome. Please stay tuned to the end of the video. So what I'm doing there, just marking a line on top of that paper just to demarcate it as my starting point. And then on that side I'll be coming out by maybe 1.5 inch or 2 inches, depends on you. I want to start my measurement from that line. Then I'm going to be marking the length of my shorts. It's 17 inches in my case. Yours could be 15. It depends on where you want it to stop. Mine is 17 and I'm just marking it there so I can connect all the lines together. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is coming down by 2 inches from that line, and I'm going to be using that as my waistband. I'm using 2 inches for my waistband. It depends on you. You could use 1.5 inches or 2.5, but for this tutorial I'm using 2 inches, and I'm just going to connect those points together. So starting my measurement from that line now, I'm going to place my tape measure there. Then I'm going to come down by 12 inches. That will serve as my crotch line. 12 inches is my crotch line, and it also varies from person to person, but for me mine is 12 inches, so that's what I'm marking there now as my crotch line measurement, and I'll just connect it together on a straight line. Then I'll label it crotch line, and that will serve as my M line, or where my short is going to stop. Now what I'm going to be doing now is marking my hip line measurement, and how I'm going to do that is by coming up by 3 inches from the crotch line. I will come up by 3 inches from that crotch line, which will give me 9 inches if I'm marking it from the top of the line. I hope you understand. So that's 3 inches from the crotch line, and then I'll just connect it with a straight ruler. That will serve as my hip line. Now we need to place our hip measurement now. So my hip is 43, then you add 1 inch to your hip measurement, which in my case is 44. Divided by 4 will give me 11. So that is what I'm placing on the hip line, on the crotch line. And I'll also come up to this line here and place it there. This line is going to serve as my waistline. So I'm going to be placing 11 inches on this line as well. Then just join the points together. So the next thing we'll be doing now is placing our waist measurement, and to do that you divide your waist by 4. You add 0.5 ease and then 1 inch for that and place the measurement. In my case, my waist is 33, divided by 4 gave me 8.5. Then I added 0.5 ease, which gave me 9 inches. Then I added 1 inch for that. That is 10. That is what I'm placing on that line, 10 inches. Then from that line you connect it with a curved ruler back into that hip line. That will give you your curve from that 10 inches down into that hip line, just like that. Now what I'll be doing now is to go to that crotch line there and extend that line outwards like so. Then on that line I'm going to be placing my crotch measurement, and to do that, the hip measurement we had previously, the 11 inches, you divide that by 4, and in my case I got 2.75. I approximated it to 2.8, and that's what I'm placing on that line. Then on this line, you angle your tape measure outwards like that and place 1.5 inches, like an angle. You place 1.5 inches, then you connect it to the 2.8 and back into that straight line on a curved ruler. That will give you the crotch curve for the front piece. Now I want to place my thigh line, And your tie line is 3 inches below your crotch line, so that's what I'm just putting there. That is where you mark your tie, 3 inches below your crotch line, and I'll just draw a straight line to connect the points together. Now we need to start putting in our measurements. So before doing that, we need to find the grain line and the center of the grain line. So I'll place my tape measure on that line, crotch line, and find the total of the measurements there. In my case, that was 14.2 inches. So the half of that is 7.1 inch. So that is what I'm just placing there. I'm marking 7.1 inches on the waistline. I've already marked on the crotch line, and I'll go down to the thigh line to mark the exact 7.1 inches, and then I also go down to the hem line just to create like a grain line, like a straight line, a center line. This line is simply like a guide into putting in our measurement. You see how it unfolds now. So now it's time to place our horizontal measurements. So my thigh circumference is 26 inches. Divided by 2 will give me 13 inches. So I'm placing my tape measure on that center line and dividing the 13 inches into 2. So that will give me 6.5 on both sides of that line. You can see the usefulness of that line. Now I'm going to go down to the hem line. In this case, it's 24 inches I'm working with. Divided by 2 gives me 12. And then I'll place it on that center line and divide the 12 into 2, 6 inches on both sides of that line. And then I'll just connect all the points together. Now we need to put our darts intake into consideration. So from that side now, I'm going to be coming out by 0.5 on both sides of that line, and then I'll go down by 3 inches for the darts length, and then I'll just connect it together. Now what I want to do now is just to connect from the waist line to the waistband line. I want to connect those two parts together and join them together, basically from the waistband down into the waistline, just like that. So what you do now is to just add half an inch sewing allowance to the crotch curve down there. I totally forgot that have not added the hem allowance, so I'm going to be putting in 2 inches for hemming allowance. That's the allowance you're going to be using in folding the shorts at the lower parts. So now I'll just cut and cut. To draft the back pattern, I'm going to be placing my front pattern on a fresh paper, and I'll be securing it with a paper tape so it doesn't move around while we're drafting. The first thing that I'll be doing here is to extend that line on the crotch area outwards on a straight line, just like that. Just draw a straight line to extend that crotch line outwards, and then you place 2 inches on that line without adding the 0.5 inches allowance we put for the front pattern. You place 2 inches on that line there to extend it out, and then you place your tape diagonally on that line and extend it by 2 inches. Remember, we did 1.5 for the back, for the front, but for the back it's 2 inches. Then you go down by 0.5 on that point, just like that. You go down by 0.5. The next thing is to come up here from that line, from that green line to the other green line in the center. That's 4 inches. You find the midpoint of this measurement, so that will give you 2 inches. So from that 2 inches, you come up by 2. It depends, you can come up by 2 inches or 2.5. I'm coming up by 2.5 because I'm adding the half an inch sewing allowance for the waistband. That's why I came up by 2.5. You could come up by 2 inches. For smaller people, you could do 1.5 inches, but this is for a plus size, so I came up by 2.5 inches. Now from this line now, I want to connect it back into the 2 inches on that curve and then down to the 0.5 inch. So I want to remove this paper tape now so it can allow me to do that. And I'm going to be joining these 3 points with free hand. So just watch how I'm doing it. So I'll be transferring the measurement on this waistline of the front to the back. I got 10 inches there, so I'm placing the 10 inches and slanting my hand and then marking where the 10 inches gets to, which is there. So I'm going to extend that line out there, just like that, and then use a straight ruler to connect that 10 inches back to that line. The reason why the back is higher is because it needs room for the butt to sit in. It needs enough room for your butt to be able to sit in. That's why it's higher and longer than the front pattern. I hope you understand. So I'll just connect from that 10 inches back into the front pattern, just aligning them together just like that. And then I'll go to the bottom part and also connect it back into the front pattern like that. And also the other side, just like that. And then I'll just remove the paper tip so we can work on the back. Now what I want to do now is to transfer the darts from the front to the back. So I'm just going to transfer 4 inches from that line to the point there. It's 4 inches, just like we did for the front. And then I'll just transfer it like that. Then my dart length for the back, I'll be going for 4 inches. I'll be using 4 inches as the length, and I'm just checking to make sure it's perpendicular to that line. And then I'll just draw a straight line to connect it together. Then you place your tape measure and take in 0.5 inch on both sides of that and connect back to the dart leg. And remember, this short as waistband, so you can draft the waistband for the back separately. This one I'm holding is for the front. It's slightly different from the back because we have to put in the zipper allowance for the back. So you draft that for that and include the zipper allowance. So I'm just labeling it as the back pattern. And I'll just cut out the pattern. Again, guys, I forgot to place the zipper on the pattern for the back. The zipper is going to be at the back. So I'll just measure out. I'll be placing it 2 inches from there. You leave out 2 inches out for the waistband, and then you place in your measurement. I'm coming down by 9 inches for the zip. That's where the zip will stop. And then I'm coming out by 1 inch, just like that, and I'll just connect the points together. So I'm just indicating here that it's 1 inch I placed there for the zipper allowance, and now I'll just cut the pattern. Now I'll be leaving out 0.5 inch at the top part of this pattern that will serve as the allowance to join the waistband for the back. I hope you understand. It's totally optional. You can do this on the fabric, but I'm just doing it for the on the pattern rather. And then I'll be trimming out the excess at the side of this pattern. So for the back, we'll be cutting this into 2 pieces for the back and also 2 pieces for the front. And guys, that is all there is for this pattern drafting. Thank you so much guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, share my video, and if you have any questions you can drop it in the comment section. Till I see you in my next video. Bye.